Hi, I'm Tom at Just One Pack, and this is AC on the Short Alpha Clash podcast, where I talk all things Alpha Clash on my way to work. And oh my, there is a setup for the next couple of months, or the rest of the year really. Loads and loads to talk about. The main topic, hopefully in time as well, is the spoilers we had during the last week. I want to focus in on Shadowlight and put it in a bigger context, but I have to do a few other tidbits before we go into that. So let's dig in. Besides all the spoilers, and for anyone who has not been following along, the next set coming out in November 8th, I think, is Genesis Return. Genesis Returns is still in spoiler season. I think it runs to something like the start of October or something like that. And then there will be a pre-release sort of game. It's going to look much better. We're going to go into that, but there is a few other milestones for this game. So if you don't know, if you're new to TCGs or have always just played the one, whatever that may be, and just recently started being more interested in Alpha Clash, there is sort of a 2-year curse for TCGs. That they live about 2 years, so the fourth set, and then they vanish and dies. Sometimes without a trace, or without any sort of warning. If Alpha Clash goes missing after set 4, I would be very, very surprised, and they are certainly going out with a bang. I don't think they're going anywhere. Here's the thing. They announced in this week the very first Clash Con. So that's a conference for only Alpha Clash. They are not a sideshow to anything. If anything, they're a sideshow to themselves here. So the Clash Con will be in December, in the 6th to the 8th in Charlotte, North Carolina, if I remember correctly. Still pending whether or not I'll go, because that is a bit of money to go there. But if you have the chance, go. For what they revealed so far, it's going to look amazing. Talks, the possibility to trade cards, and as a few side events and stuff like that. And if you're going to go, there's a Pro Tour if you already have an invite. I think that would be a massive success. The first ever Alpha Clash only con on what I suspect is a more or less international scale. Absolutely amazing. I think it's a really, really important milestone. Hopefully it will not be the last, and I hope it will be a great success. It is also the venue for the Pro Tour, as I mentioned. So you not only get to spend a weekend talking Alpha Clash and playing Alpha Clash and seeing Alpha Clash and listening Alpha Clash, you can also go and watch the very best play if you're not in it yourself. So that's one thing. That's December. What about the rest of the year? Besides the set coming out in November, I think 17th or 19th this month, the board game Cosmic Conquest is launching on GameFound, and if you haven't seen that already, go to GameFound. I'll leave a link in the description of this podcast, as well to the ClashCon, of course, for news about that. Go follow that, give it a like. There's quite a few who've done that already, and it's sort of a good gateway drug, and also a gateway drug for becoming more engaged with the Alpha Clash universe. And also, it's such a cool extension. It's such an obvious extension. Comic book, novel, card game, board game. You sort of wonder what the next thing will be. Well, maybe we'll dive into some predictions later, but not in this episode. So, board game next month, board game this month, sort of a cool down period with the rest of the spoilers, then a pre-release next month in October, new set November, ClashCon in December. Yeah, that's pretty much... we're not running out of stuff to talk about, are we? Anyway, that was a bit I had to get out of the way. Amazing news, lots of news from Rising Empire Studios. And then there were spoilers this week. I've already touched last week on Kagan and all his contender weapons. Of course, he keeps getting stronger, and a new token, which sort of ruined a plan I had, but, well, there you go. A new token with a 10/10 Draken token, which is bonkers. Maybe later we'll get into that. Right now, I want to touch on Shadowlight, because I think Shadowlight is, at least to my... to what I've seen, is the first slow build of a character in gameplay wise that really comes to fruition now. Why am I saying that? Because Shadowlight as a card and has been around since the Kickstarter, since the Awakening. The first cards came in the Awakening, and they sort of built from there. Every set had a new Shadowlight, and with small hints to what we're seeing now. I think no one could have predicted the dual-sided Shadowlight contender. So I'm not even going to pretend that was a hint. But some of the mechanics that he uses or leans towards was certainly discussed earlier. So there's been quite a few cards. We've been through the whites earlier, the white cards, and now we've gotten the black cards as well. The other way around. We had the black cards, and now we got the white cards around. But there's been black and white cards before. So some of the mechanics that is new, and well, the mechanic is not new, but what we can use it for is sort of new. So, one thing is when you have this flipping of contenders, that is completely new because you never had a dual side before. And I was looking at the contenders back when they were spoiled, thinking that will be a hard thing to manage. Also, it would be quite expensive to gain any big value from, having to pay every time you flipped him. You could do it any number of times as long as you have resources for it, but the benefit will be diminishing. Now, then the black card came, and there were mechanics in that to flip the contender, which already hinted at that you could do that. And now we got the white card, and of course there's more where you don't really want to pay the one, pardon the pun, you don't want to pay the one to flip the contender necessarily. You want it to be something else you do that makes it flip to the right side, that then lets you gain some benefit. So let me give some examples. There is a clash buff, and I thought this is the first Shadowlight clash buff, but of course it needs a clash buff. Every contender needs a clash buff. It's called Eclipse Form. It costs a single, and you may only play it when you're playing Shadowlight. And it says target clash card gets -3, -0, and then you draw one card. So for a single, you get to draw a card and give something else -3, -0. Great. That plays into a lot of the other cards we've seen previous with Shadowlight, where you sort of evade taking damage. But this is much cooler because it also says you may flip your contender. Now, if you flip your contender to the bright beacon side, the white side of your contender, you may switch an attacking clash card's you may switch a clash card's attack and defense power. Now, if you play this fairly early game and you give someone that attacks for 2 or attack for 3, -3, -0, flip your contender, and then reverses those orders, then all of a sudden it has 0 life and dies. So you may take some damage, but you're probably killing something else. And it doesn't even have to be the attacking card. You can choose whatever card you like to do this to. So maybe I'm not the only one who sort of keeps things back because I need them as pieces more than I really want to attack with them. Well, now Shadowlight just goes and kills them with the sort of direct damage. Excellent thing. One of those things, by the way, is one of the other cards spoiled, Shadowlight Luminescent Stalker. It's a 2/2 exclusive. It costs 3, and 2 of them have to be white. But it does say that clash cards your opponent control gets -2, -0. That means that the setup from before now kills a 5 attack creature, which is pretty bonkers. That's a very large dude to get rid of for basically a single. And you're really, with this -2, -0 with Luminescent Stalker, you're really slowing the attack down. The opponent, or the attacks, the damage the opponent can deal to you. So there are some really, really interesting mechanics in playing into that non-clash damage. I don't know how to put that when it's a clash buff that deals direct damage. Plus, there's a whole lot of trickery with not allowing alpha clash cards to block. We had that before with Shadowlight, but now we got Mitsuno's Karate Dojo, which is a 2-cost clash ground. And you might say, what does that has to do with Shadowlight? Well, maybe you can remember, if you read the novel, and if you haven't, go see if you can find a copy, or the graphic novel for that matter. Shadowlight is a regular dude like all the other alphas, only his name used to be Archie Mitsuno, and he runs a karate dojo, which is the one you now get as clash ground, and it has a trigger into where you sort of, if I remember correctly, you have an alpha clash card with 2 or less attack, something like that. That cannot be obstructed, and you gain a health. Your contender gains a health. It's not. I don't think that would be game breaking in any sense, but the fact that we're building up a character is so cool. Now, I said at the very beginning that it was one of the things with Shadowlight is that he has been building up through the years now, through from set 1, from the Awakening in Clash Grounds and Non-Rivaled, and now he's sort of coming full circle in Genesis Returns. But let me give you an example too. So there is on the dark side, the dark side of the contender called Dark Absence, I think. If you returned a clash card to your hand this turn, when you flip him, you get to draw a card, so you sort of get a bonus for that. Now, there are mechanics with the new cards that let you return a clash card, a specific clash card, to your hand, but we already had that in Shadowlight Eclipsing Fighter, which, as far as I remember, came in Unrivaled. You get the same thing. If he deals damage to a target contender, you get him back to your hand. Back then, we thought the value of this was you get him back to your hand, but then you get to play another clash card. And sure, you still do that, but you also get to draw a card if you flip your contender. And he doesn't flip your contender, but you can play something else that does, and then you get a draw card. So there is mechanics tying back to earlier sets. I think the first set of Shadowlight Equilibrium came in. I can't remember. So the trick with the Clash Buff. Let me put it this way. One of the things that it seems like Shadowlight want to do is these non-clash damage trickeries, and having a lot of bodies out to slow the opponent down. Things, if you can get everything -2, -0, you sort of slow the attack down. If you can block something with small dudes, it slows the attack down. So yeah, he's not the most expensive clash cards. So having a lot of those out, going back to, I think, Clash Grounds, but don't hold me to that. We had Shadowlight Finding Equilibrium. Is that later? Anywho, a white costing 3, a single white, I think. Anyway, Shadowlight Finding Equilibrium had, when it enters, then target clash card gets -X -0, where X is the number of clash cards you control. So if you can flood your board with small dudes, you can remove a potentially very big dude by first paying the 3 to play Shadowlight Finding Equilibrium, and then flipping your contender over and turning those attack power 0 into life 0. So a lot of cool things. However, and I've been waffling on for way too long for now, there's a lot of cool mechanics, a lot to play around with. There is one small caveat sort of thing here. I want to put it out there. I still don't think that will be easy to control. I definitely want to play around with it, but I think it would be hard to execute, because you need to have your pieces out and in a fairly good order. So I am really in doubt whether that will be strong enough to compete, but it sure will be fun to play. Anyway, that's it for me this time. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to press like and subscribe and share this with others, because next time is sort of an anniversary thing. So I'll talk to you then. Bye.